Welcome to another Model Wings unboxing video. Today we're going to be unboxing the Martin Baker mb6 Night Ferret. We've got some details here, so let's look. We've got British Special on this side, and that's AZ Model Scale Model Kit. And you've got the name, title. And that's where it says British Special. And then it says the artist, which is good because I really would like to see what other box arts he did. And then it says it's code. It says box contains plastic parts, decal sheet for 3 versions. On the other side, on the bottom, we have some similar information. And then we have some return information, I believe, and some warning labels in 3 languages. They even give you their email address just in case you have a fault with the kit. It even says limited run technology. So if you got this, or you're planning to get this, you might struggle to get this as it's quite hard to get now due to its limited run status. On top we have a few kits displayed. This G4 Early, this kit which I've been trying to get for a long time, which is a P1106, which I don't think is the same as the Human Models kit, but this Night Fighter version is definitely one I've been tempted to get as part of my Lift 46 collection. And then a G10 Diana. Now, starting from the beginning, we'll work our way down. We first have this one, which is from a fictional sort of squadron. We have the information down here, lots of it's words from other languages. I don't mean they've only written the description in different languages, I mean that it's just served in other countries, so the names and some of the towns are confusing to say. There's one that this one at the top says it was used over Hungary and Ukraine late 1945, but the war had already ended. So this is definitely the British version of Lift 46, as I heard someone say in their description of their kit. One of the aircraft used for the defence of Great Britain, which is Scheme 2, which is the one shown on the box, and then this all black version, which was in spring 1946. Aircraft was part of Czechoslovak occupation in contingent Germany. I believe that's what it means. Right, I think contingent is the right word. Oh. So, we're going to open this up, but first, some other parts that you might not care about. Just the sides, which are very plain and boring. We'll zoom out. I'll put the box to the side. The parts are sealed in this bag. I did try and reattach the 2 fuselage parts. I was just doing a dry fit. I tried to put them back on the sprue so I can give you the most accurate depiction of what it looked like straight out of the box. Let's zoom out and I'll show you off some of the sprues. You see, this is where I took it off. I've re-glued this one, but okay, let's see what parts we've got here. We'll move this fuselage. So you have a chair and some radio equipment, since we have a navigator here, and the 4 halves of the 2 fuel tanks. Then we have some floor pieces, which is for the back. These are basically all the parts which are only needed for the mb6. And then, of course, we'll go through the fuselage. I'll do it upside down, just because of the sprues in the way. It's got some good recessed detail, and the wings are just butt joint. And the other fuselage half, so it does have some bits for the elevators, but it seems like currently they need cutting out because they've got some flash. I don't know if you can see this, but it has a sort of marble, sort of plastic, which is strange. Oh, and inside is only on one side, it's just this side. It's got some location lines for the fuselage halves. The next sprue, I'll get a zoom out. Looks like this. We have the propellers, which have a lot of flash on them, and because they're contra-rotating, we have a pair of them. There's a bit of a dimple here, which is a bit of a problem. Let's get the camera to focus. Looks pretty good. Oh, there's the more obvious marble sort of texture. Well, not texture. Plastic colour. And we've even got this gun port sort of panel, but we've got a dimple here again. Well, more of a dent. We have the tail fin, which isn't for this version, but is for the fictional What If Sea Baker, which is one of the other boxings. Because there's one for the prototype, one for a Sea Baker as a naval aircraft. You see the arrestor hook. Then we have some doors here, and so the other boxings were the mb6 in what seems to be Australia and over Japan. That's what it looks like, and a orange trainer version, I believe. If you want to make it accurate, I would probably do a trainer version, but that sounds kind of boring, so I'm not sure if I want to. The other wing half is there. And then the last thing is this. Just another thing about the other kits is two of them of the Martin Baker mb5 and two of them for the mb6. But unfortunately all of them are quite rare, and so this was the only one I managed to get hold of. I mainly like this version, but I was a bit disappointed to find out it was practically all made up. All of it looks pretty good, but let's zoom in. Just to note, these fuselages are not for this version, the mb6. It does not have room for 2 people. Yes, the mb6 they created is fictional what if 2-seat, which is why I said you should probably make it look like a trainer if you want to make it an accurate what if. AZ have done a few what if crafts before. Unfortunately, some of them actually did exist, and lots of them, like the Bell X3, which I have on my shelf right as I'm talking, is a test aircraft. So why would it have a in-service what if version? It just does not make any sense. The fuselage halves we'll get back to in a minute, but if you're looking at this version, you might not care because they're not accurate. There are 2 tails. One is for if you're doing the prototype mb3 or mb5. The original mb5 used some parts from the mb3 when it was converted. One of those things being the tail. So one of those tails is not accurate. We have some nice detailed fuselage parts, kind of, for inside. We have some floor, and a control panel with loads of raised, beautiful detail. We have some more parts here. Now the fuselage halves. Just if you want to know, if you're doing the mb5, either the prototype or the C Baker, well, this will be helpful. Fortunately, there aren't any other unboxings, so I decided to do it. And the canopy, which comes in this small little bag. It was on a small bit of clear sprue, but there's only one clear part. There it is. But the canopy is right here. This isn't the same as the mb5, I don't think. It's this canopy, I believe, is a lot longer. But I've never tested it actually on the mb5 fuselage. It's fine, you can see where the sprue was. It's not on the part that's supposed to be clear, which is good. But last thing before the instructions, we have the decals. We have quite a few decals for different versions. We have some interesting markings, such as his Polish marking, and some kill counts, which is always quite cool. And if you're making a custom version, probably the ones I'm going to do, use LKB, use the Bs and the Polish and some of the kill counts. That's what I want to do with my version. I'm going to use a bit of all colour schemes to make my own version. I just think that would be super cool. The decals look alright, but it might be a bit clear. Last but not least, if we zoom out, we have the purple background, whoops, no worries. We have the booklet, which inside we're going to go bit by bit. We have the sprue map and the control panel all marked out, and some of these parts need a bit more touching up of detail. We then have assembly of the landing gear and the painting of the yoke, before assembling the tail wheel and the contra-rotating propellers. Then we have a part for the vent, or the air intake, as I mean. And so it comes in two halves, which I did not realise. We then have the assembly of the cockpit, including the pedals, and then just below it we have the assembling of the cockpit tub before assembling the mb6 Night Ferret's specific cockpit in the back. We then have assembly of the tail wheel bay doors up here, which I will quickly zoom up to. Don't assemble them as it says here. I'll probably assemble it later if you can, because that will just be flimsy and most likely break off. We then have the fuselage with the exhaust and the part for the air intake being added. The landing gear and the wings are all put together in only a few instructions. Then the assembly of the landing gear, which I would save till last, is shown here. The last few steps is to assemble any external bits, such as the canopy, elevators, rudder, and the fuel tanks, if that is what you are doing. Overall, this kit, which I'll get back on camera as I do the outro, seems to be very good. I really like the look of it. It might be a bit of pain if you've never done a short run kit before, but it does seem like quite a joy. I really am looking forward to it. I just have a few more projects in the way, such as my YFM1 Iracuda and the new Equinox group build, which is on the 26th. hosted by Gary Stuff. I also have started a second channel called Model Wings 2, with an underscore between the two. It is a small channel, it's not got any subscribers, it's just used to post some extra content such as bloopers or unfinished videos. It's basically the equivalent of me sharing Patreon content, but doing it free, because I don't want to start a Patreon. I want to make my content free, since it isn't really the best, so I should really be charging people. But if you want to get this kit, always save a little thing on eBay, so it tells you when a new one pops up, which is what I do with all the kits I want. So, if you want to get this was an unboxing, and hopefully it helped. If there's any criticisms or anything you need to add in the comments, or need to tell me about any mistakes, please do tell me. It's always helpful and it improves the quality of next videos and upcoming ones that I'm currently working on. So, I'll see you in a future video, whatever that may be.